One day, while looking for a book, Sakuta saw a girl walking calmly in a bunny costume in the library. The strange thing was that no one around paid any attention to her. When the girl came near him, she was surprised that Sakuta could even see her. Sakuta recognized her immediately. She was Mai Sakurajima, a famous former actress and his senior at school. Mai told him to forget what he saw and stay away from this matter. But Sakuta had no intention of doing that. The next day at school, Sakuta saw Mai in her uniform and asked his friend Yuma Kanimi if he could see her. Kanini said yes, which meant Mai had not disappeared completely yet. He also explained that Mai had missed many classes because of her acting work and did not have any real friends at school. After a while, Kunimi's girlfriend Saki took him away and acted coldly towards Sakuta because there were bad rumors about him. Later after school, Sakuta saw a man secretly taking Mai's picture at the station, so he stepped in and stopped the picture. Mai thanked him, and then both of them went home together on the train. On the way, Mai mentioned the rumor that Sakuta once beat up 3 students and ended up in the hospital himself during that fight, but Sakuta said that when people decide what they want to believe, he does not try to correct the story. After that, Sakuta asked Mai about the bunny costume. Mai explained that because of her acting, she was recognized everywhere for many years, and slowly this became tiring for her. Then one day, when she went out alone, people suddenly stopped noticing her. At first, she thought it was a coincidence, but then the same thing happened again and again in different public places, like in an aquarium and in a cafe. Sometimes some people could see her, and sometimes they could not. So she started wearing the bunny suit to check when and where she disappeared from others' eyes. To prove her point, they stopped at a bakery, where the cashier completely ignored Mai even though she tried to order herself. In the end, Sakuta had to buy things for her. Mai was surprised how he could believe such a strange thing, but Sakuta said he had seen something like this before, and he called it puberty syndrome. To explain why he took this seriously, Sakuta took Mai to his apartment and showed her a big scar on his chest. He said it appeared suddenly, and in reality, he was the one who was taken to the hospital, not the other students like the rumors made it sound. Then he also showed a picture of his younger sister Kaed, where there were strange wounds on her body. These wounds appeared when Kaed was badly bullied online. Because of this trauma, Kaed stayed away from TV and media, and Sakuta even gave up his phone for her. When Kaed met Mai, she reacted strangely and showed jealousy that her brother was giving attention to another girl. Mai was surprised that Kaed did not even recognize her, and this proved that Kaed really had cut herself off from the media. After listening to Mai, Sakuta guessed that maybe she wanted to return to acting and told her that if she faced this, maybe the problem would be solved. Hearing this, Mai got angry. She said Sakuta did not know anything about why she left the industry, and then she left. To understand her better, Sakuta started searching for information about her past. Most things were just shallow gossip, but at his part-time job, a persistent reporter, Fumika Nanju, offered that she could try to reach the real story. During this time, Sakuta also talked to Ryo Futaba about Maya's condition. Futaba explained the puberty syndrome idea not as a simple superstition, but in terms of observation and measurement. According to her, if something is not seen at all, in a way it becomes like it does not exist. This made Sakuta Azurasagawa uneasy, and he realized that if people kept noticing Mai Sakurajima less, her condition could get worse. This fear became real when he came home and saw Mai sitting outside his apartment. She was weak and hungry because people could not see her clearly enough to give her food or help her. Sakuta gave her bread. Later, Futaba explained to him with the example of Schrodinger's cat that until something is observed, its state stays uncertain. Then Sakuta understood that Mai's existence was being pushed outside the area of normal recognition. Even with all this, both of them started spending more time together. They went grocery shopping, and Mai explained that the things she touched also became unnoticeable for others. Sakuta told her to hold his hand and try to make him disappear too, but instead, Mai pulled him close and teased him. This experience showed that the effect did not make Sakuta disappear in the same way, and this made their strange closeness even more clear. On the way home, Sakuta mentioned her acting again, but this time he said he had learned the real reason Mai quit her work. Mai had trusted her mother, but she was pushed into a swimsuit photo shoot for money, and this became the main betrayal for her. When Sakuta brought this up, Mai had to face the pain she had been avoiding. Sakuta told her that running away from what happened and choosing her future by her own will were not the same thing. She still had love for acting inside her, and she should come back from her decision, not let that old wound become her identity. Then Sakuta admitted that he had made a risky deal with Fumika and gave her a picture of his scar in exchange for information about Mai. Mai understood the danger right away and scolded him for putting himself and Kaed in danger. She immediately called Fumika and offered a better deal. If the reporter did not publish the news about Sakuta's scar, Mai would give her an exclusive interview when she returned to show business. With this phone call, Mai Sakurajima quietly accepted what she really wanted. In the end, Sakuta Azurasagawa walked her to her apartment building and was surprised to see that she lived right next to his. Before going Going inside, Mai invited him to spend time with her on the weekend, but also said it was not a date. Sakuta went home and happily kept thinking about when he would see her again. On the weekend, when the planned day to go out with Mai Sakurajima came, Sakuta Azusagawa headed toward the station, but on the way he saw a little girl crying alone in the park. He tried to help her, but a woman passing by misunderstood the situation and started suspecting him. The girl immediately defended Sakuta, which cleared the misunderstanding, but even after all this, the police took Sakuta and the woman for questioning. By the time they let him go, he was already several hours late for his date. When he finally reached the station, Mai was clearly angry, but she did not cancel going out. They continued their date, and while spending time together, Mai asked Sakuta why he kept getting involved in her problems. Sakuta answered honestly. He explained that when Kaede Azusagawa was going through her puberty syndrome, most people ignored what was happening to their family, but one person reached out to him when he was completely broken, and that person gave him the courage to keep moving forward. He said he wanted to do the same for Mai, instead of letting her deal with everything alone. The mention of another girl bothered Mai more than she expected. She felt jealous and asked Sakuta who that person was. This question brought back the memory of Shoko Makinohara, the girl Sakuta met at the beach when Kaede's condition was at its worst. At that time, he was crushed by fear, tiredness, and helplessness, and Shoko's kindness helped him enough to move forward again. Later, Sakuta even entered Minagahara High, because he believed Shoko studied there, but when he arrived, he found out that nobody knew her, and there was no sign she had ever been a student there. He admitted to Mai that he started to like Shoko, and this made Mai even more upset, so she stormed off the train and ended the date. After that, Mai had already made an important decision. She explained that she had contacted her mother and invited her to meet. Mai's plan was to tell her mother that she wanted to return to show business. Sakuta Azusagawa went with her to the meeting place, but as soon as Mai Sakurajima's mother arrived, the situation took a terrible turn. Instead of seeing her daughter standing right there, she walked straight past Mai and talked only to Sakuta. What was even worse was that when Sakuta mentioned Mai, her mother's face showed no sign that she even remembered having a daughter by that name. Now, it was impossible to deny Mai's condition. She'd even disappeared from her mother's memory. After her mother left, Sakuta refused to accept what had just happened. He and Mai went around the city asking different people if they remembered Mai Sakurajima, a famous actress and student at Minagahara High. Every answer was the same. Nobody remembered her. Sakuta also contacted Fumika, the same reporter who had been very eager to arrange an exclusive interview with Mai, but now she did not remember Mai either. The more people forgot her, the more shaken Mai became. She started to lose hope and thought maybe it was pointless to keep fighting, but Sakuta did not let her give up. He said they should go somewhere else, a place where maybe someone still remembered her. Before leaving, Sakuta told Kaede Azusagawa that he would be out for some time because he needed to be with Mai. By that time, even Kaede did not remember Mai, but she trusted Sakuta enough not to try to stop him. This hit even harder because it made clear how far Mai's disappearance had spread. With no better choice, Sakuta took Mai out of the area and both of them went by train, asking people again and again if they remembered her. During the trip, Mai quietly asked the question she feared most, whether Sakuta still remembered her. He answered without any hesitation. He said he remembered everything about her, her face, her voice, and even the small things that made her who she was. This certainty became the one thing that kept Mai together, and for the first time after meeting her mother, Mai allowed herself to lean on him. Night came closer and they had nowhere else to go, so both went to a hotel. Because of the strange situation, they took only one room and tried to act calm in conditions that were not normal at all. Mai Sakurajima went to take a bath, and during that time, Sakuta Azusagawa tried to contact the few people he could still trust. He called Kunimi first, and was surprised to learn that Kunimi still remembered Mai. This one answer gave him a little hope. Then he contacted Futaba, and she also remembered Mai. Futaba suggested that maybe this memory loss had not spread everywhere the same way yet. It was possible that people connected to the school still knew Mai, while people outside that circle had completely forgotten her. Encouraged by this possibility, Sakuta and Mai also made a quick stop to buy some needed things. Even in all the fear and uncertainty, the quiet time they spent together felt strangely soft. Both talked late into the night about what they should do next, and if there was still any way left to force the world to accept Mai again. Neither of them really managed to sleep. The tension between them stayed, and it grew even more because now Sakuta had become the one person Mai could trust completely. At one point, when the room was dark and there was silence between them, Mai said they should kiss. The moment was serious, but Sakuta ruined it by making a joke at the wrong time, and Mai immediately pulled back. She felt embarrassed and angry. Even so, the closeness between them did not disappear. In the end, when they tried to rest, Mai quietly thanked him for not leaving her even when everyone else had forgotten she existed. Sakuta did not make any big promise in reply. He just stayed with her and held on to the hope that as long as he remembered her, Mai was not completely gone. The next morning, Sakuta Azusagawa woke up in the hotel room. He had spent the whole night in the same room with Mai Sakurajima, but he had almost not slept at all, so he was very tired. When both of them went out together and walked in the city, Mai tried to get people's attention, but now it was clear that even fewer people could see her than before. At school, Sakuta met Futaba, and the situation became even more serious there. Futaba explained that since the previous day, more people had forgotten Mai, and when Sakuta checked further, he found out that now even Kunimi did not remember Mai. When Sakuta asked Tomoe Koga about Mai, she and her friends just laughed at him, because for them, he was asking about someone they had never known. Based on what Futaba had seen, she reached an important conclusion. People forgot Mai after they slept. That was why she and Sakuta had remembered her until now, because both of them had not really slept. Now this pattern was clear. Every time someone finished the day and woke up again, Mai faded a bit more from their memory. Sakuta immediately understood what this meant for him. If he slept, he might also forget Mai. From that moment, he decided that no matter what, he would stay awake. He threw himself into this desperate plan. After work, he bought energy drinks and anything that could help him stay awake. He started writing everything in his diary so that even if his memory became weak, there would still be a record of Mai and what happened between them. At home, when Kaed Azusagawa noticed his strange condition, Sakuta avoided the topic and said he was preparing for exams. In reality, he was spending every hour only by the strength of his willpower, because he was afraid that even a moment of weakness would erase Mai from his world completely. The next morning, his condition looked bad, but he still went to school with Mai and held on to the hope that maybe someone would notice her again. During exams, it became hard for him to keep his eyes open. Lack of sleep started to ruin his focus, and it was clear his body had reached its limit. Even then, he refused to stop. Then the situation got even worse. At one point, even Futaba finally slept, and when Sakuta Azusagawa talked to her again, now she also did not remember Mai Sakurajima. Now Sakuta was the only person left who still knew that Mai existed. When this memory stayed only with him, he pushed himself even harder. He kept writing in his journal, then read it again, and tried every method he could think of to stay awake. His condition became so bad that people around him could see something was wrong. Mai watched all this quietly. She understood that Sakuta was destroying himself for her, but even then, he did not talk about giving up even once. He kept trying to find an answer, and also tried to keep himself together during the exam period. Finally, Mai stepped in herself. One day, she caught him trying to buy more drinks and told him to stop doing such dangerous things. Since exams were still going on, she said instead she would help him study. Both of them sat together and studied, and during this, Mai explained the difference between security and guarantee with a grammar example. While studying, Sakuta teased her as usual, and Mai answered as always, half angry and half amused. For a while, the scene almost seemed normal, like the strange crisis around them had faded into the background. But Sakuta's body had already gone past its limit. While studying, even with all his effort, he started to fall asleep again and again. Then Mai told him what she had done. She'd already put sleeping pills in his drink. She thanked him for everything he had done for her, and also said she could not watch him hurt himself like this anymore. Even if it meant he would forget her, she would accept it, but she would not let him destroy himself more. As Sakuta's senses faded, Mai said goodbye to him, and she fully understood that when morning came, she might be erased from his memory. The next day, Kaede Azusagawa woke him up as usual. Sakuta Azusagawa got up and strangely felt refreshed, but then a bunny costume fell from the bed, which confused him. When he looked at his journal, he found entries about a girl named Mai Sakurajima and strange events around her. The words were in his handwriting, but they felt like they belonged to someone else. He could not remember Mai, but the diary did not let him believe that it was all just a made-up story. At school, Futaba gave him a note she found in her things, even though she did not remember writing it. The message said that existence depended on being observed and acknowledged by someone. If he wanted to make someone real again, he had to force people to recognize that person. During the exam, Sakuta tried to solve questions with this thought in his mind. Then he remembered the same difference Mai explained during studying between security and guarantee. This sentence became the trigger. In one moment, the hidden memories came back. He remembered the Mai from the library, the Mai from the train, the Mai from the bakery, and the Mai who stayed with him in every hard time. He did not just remember facts about her existence, but also remembered what she meant to him. In this state, he left the exam and ran straight out of the classroom. Outside, Sakuta chose the only way he could think of to force the world to accept Mai again. In front of the whole school, he shouted that he loved Mai Sakurajima. Students and teachers started to gather, but he did not stop speaking. He said her name again and again, clearly and in front of everyone, so now nobody could ignore her. His voice turned his personal memory into a reality that was seen and heard by everyone. This plan worked. Mei appeared in front of everyone again, now visible because she was forced to be acknowledged. She came to Sakuta and slapped him because she was angry at his method and also because he forgot her. But Sakuta held her and clearly said that this was not a joke or just something he did because he had to. He really loved her. Mai Sakurajima was still nervous, so she told him to say the same thing again after 1 month. Then she would give him her answer. In front of the whole school, Mai also used this chance to clear Sakuta Azusagawa's name and openly denied the rumor that he ever sent other students to the hospital in a fight. After that, life finally started to return to normal. People began to remember Mai again, and Sakuta was no longer the only person carrying the memory of her existence. One morning, Kaed Azusagawa sat in front of the TV, watching a football news report about Japan beating Germany, while Sakuta Azusagawa got ready for school and left the house as usual. On the way, he did not feel anything strange. At school, he met Kunimi and Futaba, and Kunimi immediately joked about his hairstyle. Sakuta ignored it as a small thing, and the day continued in a normal way, until lunchtime when Mai Sakurajima brought him a bento she made herself. Since Sakuta had teased her before that she could not cook well, he was surprised that she actually made it for him. They ate together, and during this, Sakuta again told Mai that he loved her and asked if she would be his girlfriend. Mai avoided giving a direct answer and said she was tired of hearing the same thing every day. Then she changed the topic and said she had accepted a new acting job, which included a kissing scene. Sakuta reacted badly and said she should not take that job. Mai calmly reminded him that she had already kissed him before, but this confused him because he could not remember anything like that. Then Mai asked if he wanted another kiss. Sakuta immediately said yes, so she told him to close his eyes. He closed his eyes seriously, but Mai tricked him and put an egg roll in his mouth instead of kissing him. After teasing him for a while, she explained that in this project, she would not actually do the kiss, but another actress would do that part. Sakuta felt like she was not taking him seriously, so he complained that if she kept avoiding him like this, maybe he would slowly stop loving her. This finally made Mai react for real. She got nervous and told him not to say things like that. Then when Sakuta asked again if she would be in a relationship with him, Mai hesitantly said yes. With that, their relationship started. The next morning, when Sakuta woke up, he saw that Kaede was watching the same football news again. At first, he just found it strange, but after reaching school, Kunimi made the same comment about his haircut as before. Futaba joined in the same way, and the whole day felt exactly the same. At lunchtime, Mai Sakurajima brought the same bento and started the same talk she did the previous day. This time, Sakuta Azusagawa quickly asked the question earlier, but he got the same embarrassed answer. Now, he could not ignore it. The same day was repeating. When this pattern continued again, Sakuta went to Futaba for help. Futaba listened carefully and brought up the idea of Laplace's demon, a made-up being that, if it knew the state of everything in the world, could predict every event. In their case, she guessed that maybe some person was unconsciously bringing the same day back again and again, and a closed loop was forming because there was something in that day that was not reaching what that person wanted. In other words, someone inside this cycle was becoming the demon who was the reason for this repetition. With this in mind, Sakuta started to pay more attention to the changes between loops. He noticed that most people repeated their actions exactly the same, but Koga's behavior was a bit different. In one loop, he saw her inside a room and understood that she was not following the same pattern as the others. When he asked her, Koga seemed relieved that someone else had noticed this too. She admitted that she was also stuck in these repeating days, even though she did not fully understand why it was happening. Sakuta said maybe this was another case of puberty syndrome, but Koga did not accept this explanation easily. Before she could say more, Koga suddenly pulled Sakuta to hide because someone was coming toward them. The person looking for her was Maizawa, a boy who started to be interested in her. Then Koga told him the real problem she was trying to avoid. Her friend Rina Kashiba liked Maizawa, but Maizawa showed more interest in Koga. Koga thought he was not serious and only dated girls casually, so this situation felt even worse to her. Even so, she was stuck because if she clearly rejected him, her place in her friend group could get worse. If Rina got hurt, or if the others thought Koga handled it badly, she was afraid she would be pushed out. While Sakuta Azusagawa and Koga were still hiding and talking, Maizawa came back and saw them in a position that immediately gave the wrong impression. They were very close to each other, so the scene looked suspicious right away. The problem got even bigger, because at the same time, Mai Sakurajima also arrived and saw the same thing. Sakuta tried to explain, but Mai left before he could clear things up. Since the day was repeating anyway, Sakuta thought he would get another chance to fix this misunderstanding in the next loop. But the next morning, the loop did not reset the way he expected. Time moved forward, and the results of the previous day stayed. Mai was still angry, which meant the problem had now changed. Sakuta met Futaba again, and both of them looked at the situation together. From the pattern, they concluded that Koga really was at the center of the loop. The repeating day existed because she wanted to avoid Maezawa's confession and the possible damage to her friendship. In their talk, Futaba also shared something personal. She admitted she could understand Koga's pain because she herself had feelings for Kunimi, even though he already had a girlfriend. That was why she knew well how messy things could get when friendship and attraction came together. She warned Sakuta that misunderstandings like with Mai did not come without damage. Just as Mai misunderstood his situation with Koga, Maezawa could easily misunderstand Koga's feelings, and this kind of misunderstanding might have been the real reason for the repeating days from the start. In the end, Sakuta understood that this loop was not just a strange phenomenon. This was a desperate attempt by Koga to stop the ending she was afraid to face. Now that the repetition was over, she no longer had the comfort of thinking everything would reset tomorrow. Now she had to face the damage left behind, especially Mai Sakurajima's anger, while Sakuta also understood that another case of puberty syndrome had pulled him into Koga's emotional crisis. Sometime later, Koga started working at the same part-time job as Sakuta Azusagawa and Kunimi. When both of them saw her in uniform, they were surprised, and so was she. During the shift, some of Koga's friends came there and casually assumed that Sakuta was her boyfriend, which made an awkward situation that neither of them could ignore. After work, Koga finally explained clearly what she wanted. She told Sakuta to pretend to date her for a while. At first, Sakuta refused and told her to focus on the puberty syndrome behind the time loop, but Koga kept insisting. She said that if people found out the truth, she could be pushed out of her group, and she was trying hard not to let that happen. She also thought that if she was seen with a boy like Sakuta, who became quite popular after his public confession to Mai Sakurajima, people would see her as cooler. Her fear of being left out reminded Sakuta a lot of Kaed Azusagawa, so even though he knew this would make things worse, he agreed to help her. That night, Sakuta kept thinking about how bad this would get with Mai. He got his answer soon when Mai came to his apartment and asked for an explanation about what happened with Koga. Sakuta was sitting on the floor while Mai sat on his bed and questioned him. When he explained that Koga's fear of social rejection reminded him of Kaede, Mai understood more than he expected. She also made it clear that she did not fully trust the situation, but she still allowed him to keep acting for Koga's sake. Before leaving, she gave a dress to Kaede that she bought, hoping it might help her take a step forward. Kaede, who was hiding behind the door and listening, tried on the dress and happily thanked Mai. She liked the gift so much that she even told Mai to become her sister-in-law one day, and this made both Sakuta and Mai nervous. The next day, Sakuta asked Kunimi about Maezawa and learned that his reputation with girls was already not good. This made Koga's situation seem even more dangerous to him. When Sakuta Azusagawa went on his first fake date with Koga, he tried to make it look real. Koga asked for his phone number and was surprised to find out he did not even have a phone. On the train, she explained that she stayed up late at night chatting with friends and tried to keep up with online trends, which made her tired. Sakuta called it pointless, but Koga said she had to do it or she would be left behind by others. Their date took them to the aquarium, where they took photos and spent time watching penguins. Koga pointed to a penguin that did not care what the others thought, and she admitted she was jealous of it. In contrast, she always watched the people around her and kept changing herself to fit in. Later, she opened up more and showed Sakuta an old photo of herself from before she changed her style. She said she used to look plain, and after coming to the city, she made herself new, partly to blend in with others, and partly because she liked her new look. Even now, she was not sure which one was the real her. Sakuta told her the answer was easy. The person she chose to be was also the real her. After that, when both were walking near the beach, they met a girl looking for her lost phone strap or keychain. Koga offered to help, but the girl first pushed her away because she was not part of Koga's popular group. Even so, Koga and Sakuta helped her, and while getting the thing back, Koga got wet herself. The next day, because of this, Koga caught a cold and was in the infirmary. Sakuta brought her food and asked how she was. Koga admitted she did not like being there because just one day behind on trends and group talk made her feel like she was being cut off from others. Sakuta said she should have stayed home and rested, but Koga said people like him could never understand that because he did not care about others' opinions. Sakuta said she only needed one person who was really important to her, and that was enough. This affected Koga more than she expected. A few days later, she brought him peaches to thank him for taking care of her, and their fake relationship started to feel easier and more natural than either of them thought. During all this, Sakuta Azusagawa's real feelings were still for Mai Sakurajima. Koga asked him about Mai, and Sakuta admitted that if all these time loop and fake relationship problems had not happened, maybe his relationship with Mai would have moved forward more easily by now. When Koga asked if Mai had ever directly told him that she loved him, Sakuta realized she had not said it. That night, Mai called him just to hear his voice, and both of them talked and teased each other as usual. The talk stayed light, but even then, Sakuta felt guilty inside, because he was hiding behind the excuse of fake dating another girl. At the same time, Sakuta also noticed that Futaba was acting strange around Kunimi. When Kunimi came to her, she She got clearly nervous, and Sakuta immediately understood what was going on. Later, Futaba and Sakuta talked about why Koga's time loop ended, and they decided that maybe Koga had unconsciously accepted her current life enough that she stopped forcing the day to repeat. Around the same time, Saki Kamisato confronted Sakuta and warned him to stay away from Kunimi, which made things even more tense between everyone. Then the situation with Koga got even worse. Kunimi told Sakuta that Maezawa had started spreading bad rumors about her. Soon those rumors started to affect her at school, and Koga began to fall behind her friends instead of walking with them. When Sakuta found her alone, she was clearly in pain, even though she tried not to show it. Then Maezawa and his friends came again and spread the rumors even more. This time, Sakuta did not hold back. He openly faced Maezawa, took a punch, got up again, and then knocked him down in front of everyone with a kick. After that, he grabbed Koga's hand and ran away with her so things would not get worse. When they got far away, Koga thanked him. Sakuta Azusagawa said he only did what he promised, and when all this was over, he wanted both of them to stay friends. Koga said yes to this, but his words affected her more deeply than she expected. Later, Mai Sakurajima helped Sakuta with his studies, and during this, Mai revealed that she had secretly watched the fight and was impressed that he defended Koga without hesitation. In the end, Sakuta and Koga went on another outing to look at swimsuits, and they decided how to end their fake relationship in a natural way. Their plan was simple. As soon as summer vacation started, Koga would break up with Sakuta by saying he was still too stuck on Mai. In this way, the arrangement that started to save Koga now moved toward its final stage, even though both of them understood that the feelings involved were not completely fake anymore. On July 18, the last day before summer break, the day of Sakuta Azusagawa and Koga's final fake date arrived. In the morning, Kaede Azusagawa woke him up and casually said she wanted a round watermelon, and at that time, it seemed like just a normal detail. Sakuta went to the station to meet Koga and end their arrangement the right way. Koga arrived a little late, feeling a bit shy and happy, and then both of them spent the day at the beach as planned. They ate grilled corn, played in the water, made sandcastles, and had shaved ice together while both tried to keep the mood light. Sakuta teased her as usual, and she got embarrassed, but under this normal talk, both knew this should be their last outing as a fake couple. As the sun started to set, Koga seriously thanked him for everything he had done for her. She said goodbye to their small relationship and wished him well with Mai Sakurajima. Sakuta went home and thought this matter was finally over. But the next morning, Kaede woke him up again with the same words, and then the same round watermelon talk came up just like before. Sakuta checked the date and realized it was still July 18. The last day had started again. He immediately suspected Koga and went to ask her if she felt anything strange, but she acted confused and said it was her first July 18. Sakuta took this problem to Futaba, and she laid out the clear possibilities. Either Koga was also stuck in the loop but did not know it, or she knew everything and was lying. Since Sakuta had already seen her connected to a repeated day before, the second possibility seemed stronger. Still, he had no proof. With nothing else to do, he spent the same day again, met Koga at the station, and repeated the same beach date. Again, both ate corn, played in the sea, made sandcastles, and ended the day with the same quiet goodbye. Then the day started again, and again. When Sakuta had spent the same date many times, he became sure that Koga was not telling the truth. Everything happened exactly the same unless he changed something on purpose, and Koga's role in all this did not seem like a coincidence. In the fourth loop, Sakuta Azusagawa decided he would not go along anymore. When he met Koga, instead of going to the beach, he took her in the opposite direction. Both went to a different town, visited sightseeing spots, looked at food stalls, and finally stopped at a shrine. There, Sakuta read a wish tablet and purposely turned the moment into a challenge. He warned Koga that lying in front of the gods would have a bad result, and then he wrote something so provoking that Koga had to react. His real goal was not the shrine, but the lie Koga was still holding. Koga became clearly uneasy. Later, when she said they should go back to the beach and continue the day as usual, Sakuta finally dropped the act. He said clearly that repeating the date would not change anything. Even if he lived it hundreds or thousands of times, his feelings would not move away from Mai Sakurajima. These words broke the last cover Koga was hiding behind. Standing in the rain, she finally stopped pretending. She admitted that at first, she really wanted to support Sakuta's feelings for someone else and end everything cleanly. But by spending time with him again and again, she became more and more drawn to him. Every repeated date gave her another chance to be with him, and she kept convincing herself that if this went on long enough, maybe something would change. She knew she had become a burden for both Sakuta and Mai, and this made her hurt even more. Sakuta told her to stop lying to herself and say what she really felt. With tears, Koga finally said clearly that she loved him. With this true confession, the loop ended. The next morning, Sakuta woke up to a familiar football news report about Japan beating Germany, and he immediately understood that time had not just moved forward. Koga's puberty syndrome had reset events back to June 27, the time when Sakuta and Mai started dating and before the fake relationship had started. Sakuta understood what Koga had done. After the timeline was restored, Sakuta Azusagawa went back to school and met Mai Sakurajima again. He confessed again, and when Mai hesitated like before, this time he demanded a real answer and did not let the moment pass as before. This time, after agreeing to be in a relationship with him, Mai quietly showed her true feelings in another way and kissed him on the cheek. It was a small gesture, but for Sakuta, this finally became a clear answer. Soon after, he met Koga again. Now, this version of events was different. When Maezawa showed up, Koga did not get stuck in a helpless state like before, but confidently rejected him. She said she already liked someone else, an idiot who also had a cool side. When Sakuta asked if she was talking about him, she did not deny it. But now she did not try to hold on to him the way she did inside the loop. She just complained that he ruined her social life, and then agreed that both would stay friends. Later, Sakuta saw that Koga was not alone anymore. She started connecting with new people who seemed to accept her in a more natural way, and the future around her began to look better too. Later, Futaba suggested that maybe Sakuta and Koga had been connected by a strange quantum overlap, which also appeared in other cases of puberty syndrome. Sakuta joked about this, but the idea still stayed. By that time, his attention had returned to Mai. On a rainy day, both were walking home together as an actual couple. On the way, they saw a girl bent under an umbrella saving a cat from the rain. Sakuta went forward to help, but then he suddenly stopped when the girl said her name was Shoko Makinohara. The name immediately felt familiar to him. The memories of the girl who once pulled him out of despair all came back at once, and seeing her standing in front of him shook him. Later, Sakuta woke up and found Kaed there, bringing him back from that memory. Several weeks passed after a shocking reunion with Shoko Makinohara, but the more Sakuta Azusagawa saw her, the stranger the situation felt. The Shoko who now came to see him was not the same one he remembered from before. The girl who once helped him during a very hard time in his life now did not seem to know him in the same way, and the age difference was obvious. The Shoko in Sakuta's memories wore a high school uniform, but the Shoko standing in front of him now was just a middle school student. Even so, she regularly came to his apartment to see the cat she saved, which Sakuta had decided to keep. Kaede now stayed there with his other cat, and in the same way, Shoko also became a familiar presence in the home. Kaede Azusagawa watched all this with open suspicion. She felt jealous about how often Shoko came to the house, and started to worry that Sakuta was trying to replace her with another little sister. Sakuta assured her she was still his only little sister, but Kaede stayed cautious anyway. This situation also stayed in Sakuta's mind, so he talked about it with Futaba. When he met her, he was surprised for a moment by her changed look, because her hair was down and she was not wearing her usual glasses. Futaba explained she still had to come to school to keep the science club active, then listened to everything Sakuta said. He told her that Shoko really existed, but the version he saw now was clearly not the same person he knew before. Futaba suggested a logical possibility. Maybe it was just another girl with the exact same face, something rare but not impossible. She also mentioned the old idea that every person in the world has several lookalikes. This explanation did not fully satisfy him, but since nothing bad had happened yet, she told Sakuta not to worry. As they walked, they saw a poster for an upcoming fireworks festival, which reminded Sakuta of the time he went there once with Kanemi and Futaba. He casually said maybe they could do that again, but Futaba immediately rejected the idea and walked away, as if she did not want to hear anything about Kanemi directly. Later, Sakuta Azusagawa was working his shift with Kanemi when Koga arrived wearing a yukata. Soon after, Mai Sakurajima suddenly came into the cafe, and since she had been away for work for several days, Sakuta was surprised to see her. After the shift, both walked home together and finally got some peaceful time alone. Mai asked him about the new Shoko Makinohara, and Sakuta admitted that even after talking to Futaba, he still did not have a clear answer. He wanted to spend time close to Mai after so many days, but their evening changed direction when both saw someone who looked exactly like Futaba going into an internet cafe late at night. Feeling suspicious, they followed her. To make sure what they were seeing, Sakuta called Futaba from Mai's phone. There was a voice on the other end, but at the same time, another Futaba was standing nearby and did not have a phone in her hand. When Sakuta tried to go near her, she ran away as soon as she saw him. He followed her, and when she stopped, the truth came out. Futaba explained that puberty syndrome had split her into two different versions. One had taken over the home life, while the other had nowhere to go and was staying at the internet cafe. She also had her own theory, connected to quantum mechanics and the idea that her consciousness was somehow being transmitted to another body, but she could not fully explain why this was happening. Sakuta immediately offered her to stay at his apartment. Mai first refused the idea, then made it clear that if Futaba stayed there, she would stay there too. When they got home, Kaede Azusagawa noticed that a lot of girls girls were gathering around Sakuta these days. But even so, she welcomed Futaba. Arranging sleeping space became awkward, and in the end, Sakuta gave his room to the girls while he stayed outside. Before that, when Futaba was in the bath, Sakuta talked to her alone. Even with her scientific composure, she admitted she was scared. Most of all, she was afraid that her other version might do something reckless that would show her hidden feelings, especially if it was about Kanemi. That night, Mai Sakurajima came outside and sat with Sakuta Azusagawa so he would not be alone. After being away for work, she wanted to spend time with him, but she also saw that his mind was completely stuck on Futaba's problem. She did not complain openly, but it was clear that the little time they got together was again being taken by another case of puberty syndrome. Sakuta asked her to help him watch Futaba, and Mai quietly agreed in her own way. The mood between them became soft again, and Sakuta tried to kiss her, but as usual, ruined the moment in an awkward way. Mai was not angry. She just said there would be more chances later. The next morning, the mood felt a bit like home. Mai made breakfast for everyone, and for a while, the apartment had a warm and normal feeling. Then Shoko Makinohara came again to see the cats, and she also noticed how many girls were gathering around Sakuta. After going to school, Sakuta went to look for the other Futaba, and finally found one version watching Kanemi play basketball. When he teased her for staring, she explained why she started to like him. Not just because he once gave her chocolate bread when she was hungry, but because he came to her kindly at the exact time when she needed it the most. That memory stayed with her since then. Then Sakuta told her that the other Futaba was staying at his house. At first, he suspected that maybe one of them was fake, but after meeting both, he could not say that anymore. The Futaba standing in front of him told him another important thing, that the Futaba at home was lying when she said she did not know the reason for the split. In reality, both of them knew what caused this puberty syndrome, and both were avoiding the real problem. On the other side, the Futaba, staying at Sakuta's apartment, was teaching Kaed Azusagawa and Shoko. During this time, Mai Sakurajima got a call from her agency, and she casually called Sakuta Azusagawa's home her boyfriend's house, which surprised the person on the other side. Later, Sakuta talked to Kanemi and realized that Kanemi was really worried about Futaba's condition, and this gave him a little hope. A little while after that, Sakuta got a call from home. Mai answered the call and told him to come back right away, saying there was something important they needed to talk about. Seki Kamisato came to Sakuta Azusagawa and warned him about Futaba. When he asked what she meant, she showed him a private social media account filled with Futaba's revealing photos. This shocked him, especially because now he started to understand that maybe this was also a reason why Futaba split into two parts. When he went home, he waited until Futaba was alone, then mentioned the account. At first, Futaba became uneasy, but when Sakuta pushed the topic, she also started to understand the real reason for her puberty syndrome. She admitted that she started the account just to talk to people more easily, but over time, it became a place where she looked for the attention she wanted inside. Futaba explained that she often felt men looked at her body, and instead of feeling good, it made her dislike herself. But at the same time, she also wanted someone to notice her and think she was important. Posting the photos gave her attention, but also made her feel embarrassed. This conflict split her into two parts. One Futaba had shyness and guilt, while the other followed the desires she did not even want to admit to herself. After saying all this clearly, she asked Sakuta for help. She wanted him to convince the other Futaba to stop posting the photos and stop opening herself to strangers online. After this, Sakuta finally asked Mai Sakurajima what was the important thing she wanted to talk to him about so urgently. Mai told him that her agency had basically forbidden her from dating, and that included meeting her boyfriend in public. This news shook Sakuta, but when he calmed down, both agreed that they would have to accept this distance for the sake of Mai's career. They had just started their relationship and did not want to give it up, so they decided to keep going together even with the restrictions. Since Mai could not spend as much time with him now, Sakuta started meeting the more assertive Futaba more often. When he talked to her about the account, she became defensive and said he only came because Mai Sakurajima could not come. Even so, she honestly admitted that she hated her body and the attention it pulled. Then she asked Sakuta Azusagawa a hard question: if only one version of Futaba could stay, which would he choose? Sakuta could not answer. After spending time with both, he no longer saw one as real and the other as fake. In front of him were two sides of the same person, and both were suffering in different ways. Soon after, Kunimi came, and Sakuta used this chance to push Futaba to help him, hoping that even a small interaction could bring her closer to the person she liked. Days passed, and Sakuta kept meeting the bold Futaba until the account stopped updating. But just when it seemed things were getting better, a man sent a direct message saying he recognized her from the photos and wanted to meet her. He threatened that if she refused, he would expose everything. Futaba became scared. Sakuta took her phone and said he would go to the police, and only then did she realize the real danger. Shocked by the chance of being targeted in real life, she told Sakuta to delete the account forever. After that, he took her home, and even though she apologized for dragging him into all this, Sakuta told her not to worry. When she asked him to stay that night in case the man came, Sakuta agreed. That evening, her anxiety grew even more. Even from inside the bath, she kept calling out to make sure he was still outside. Slowly, she talked about the loneliness in her life. Her parents were often away from home for work, and before meeting Sakuta and Kunimi, she kept most things inside herself. She remembered that she first noticed Sakuta when everyone at school stayed away from him because of the hospital rumors, but he still came to class like those things did not matter at all. That attitude was what she found interesting, and that was where their friendship started. But now, she was afraid she would be left behind. She felt that in the end, Sakuta Azusagawa would only pay attention to Mai Sakurajima, and Kunimi would keep living in his own world where she could not enter. Sakuta rejected this idea, and right then called Kunimi, telling him to come immediately because Futaba needed him. Kunimi arrived quickly and really looked worried, and his concern broke through Futaba's feeling of loneliness. She realized she was not as alone as she thought. To lighten the mood, Sakuta brought out fireworks, and then the three of them went to the beach and set them off. In the sparks and smoke, they laughed again, like close friends. Before leaving, Kunimi invited them to go together to the upcoming fireworks festival, and Futaba quietly kept that promise in her heart. The next morning, the more assertive Futaba told Sakuta to take care of the other Futaba. She knew the quiet Futaba needed him more. When Sakuta went home and told the Futaba there that the account had been deleted, she noticed his phone wallpaper, which was a picture of him, Kunimi, and the other Futaba together. Then things changed again. Kaed Azusagawa told Sakuta that Futaba had disappeared, and he immediately went out in the rain to look for her. At Futaba's house, the other Futaba guessed where she would go. Sakuta quickly reached the school and found her there alone. He invited her to go to the fireworks festival with him and Kunimi, but she refused. She thought the other Futaba was the better version, the one more able to stay as their friend. In her mind, she was the one who should disappear. Sakuta, already soaked and tired from running in the rain, told her clearly that she was wrong. Neither of them was less than the other, but before he could say more, his body gave out and he collapsed. When Sakuta woke up in the hospital, Mai was with him. After recovering, he met Futaba again and told her clearly that she was important to the people around her. She was not someone who would disappear without leaving anything behind. Encouraged by his words, she agreed to go to the festival. Even more important, she called her other self and said what she really wanted, that both of them should sit together and watch the fireworks. As soon as this true wish was spoken, both Futaba became one again. At the festival, Sakuta Azusagawa, Kunimi, and the now whole Futaba spent the evening under the summer fireworks, with Futaba wearing a yukata. The sky lit up, and during this, Futaba quietly confessed her feelings to Kunimi. She said she did not need an answer, because she already knew, and now the important thing was only that he chose the life he wanted for himself. Tears came to her eyes, but she smiled anyway. For the first time in a long while, she felt like she was whole again. When the second term of school started on September 1, Sakuta Azusagawa was happy that he could see Mai Sakurajima more, because most of the summer he was away from her because of her work. Mai had told him that after school started, they would have more chances to spend time together, so he started looking for her on campus. But Mai was nowhere to be seen. Worried, he went to her apartment building and saw a girl outside who looked exactly like Mai. For a moment, he felt relieved, but when he talked to her, she did not recognize him at all and reacted like he was bothering her. Before he could understand what was happening, a blonde girl came and clearly explained the truth. She was actually Mai, while the girl in front of him was her younger half-sister, Nodoka Toyohama. Somehow, their bodies had been swapped. Inside Mai's apartment, the whole situation became clear. Nodoka was nervous and treated it like a bad dream, but Mai was calm and accepted it as another case of puberty syndrome. The body swap happened at night, when Nodoka came to her, refused to leave, and spent the night there. By morning, both had changed into each other's bodies. Nodoka was an idol, while Mai had her own school and acting work, so just hiding was not possible. Since nobody knew how to change back yet, both decided to live each other's lives for now. That meant changing schedules, habits, and daily routines. Sakuta also became involved, especially because he had to help Nodoka act like Mai at school so nobody would suspect anything. The next morning, Nodoka, now in Mai's body, was nervous about going to school. She was afraid Mai's classmates would immediately notice something was wrong. but Sakuta told her that Mai was not very close to anyone there. This helped Nodoka a bit, though she quickly reminded him that keeping distance from others was not only Mai's special trait. Even so, Sakuta kept a close eye on her and was surprised at how well she studied and copied her sister's behavior. Under her complaints, it was clear that Nodoka paid a lot of attention to Mai. Just this fact told Sakuta Azusagawa that her feelings for her sister were much more complicated than simple hate. Later, Sakuta talked about this case with Futaba, and she saw it from the same angle as every other puberty syndrome, meaning she looked for the emotional discomfort that could be behind it. Based on what Sakuta had seen so far, the possible reason was Nodoka Toyohama's inferiority complex toward Mai Sakurajima. For a while, to take Nodoka away from this pressure, Sakuta took her to the beach. After getting away from the city, he finally brought up the topic she had been avoiding. He told her directly that she was not being honest with herself and was always running from her real feelings. Nodoka got angry, but Sakuta did not back down. He explained that Mai already understood the truth better than Nodoka did. The real problem was not a small grudge. The real thing was that Nodoka had lived a long time with the feeling that, no matter what she did, she would always be behind Mai. This hidden anger finally came out later when Mai appeared. Nodoka admitted that she hated Mai because she was always a standard she could never reach. When Mai Sakurajima took a break from show business for a while, Nodoka Toyohama's own career had a chance to rise. But as soon as Mai returned, she easily pulled everyone's attention back to herself. Every time Nodoka fell short, her mother compared them even more harshly. Speaking all these things out loud made her anger feel even clearer and heavier than before. Mai listened to all this, then gave a reply that was cold but just as true. She said she also hated Nodoka, but not because of talent or jealousy. The real reason was that their father and the adults around them made both of them rivals from the start and shaped their relationship in that way. Even after this confrontation, the swap did not end right away. Both sisters kept living each other's lives for several weeks, doing school, rehearsals, interviews, and work as if nothing was wrong. Sakuta Azusagawa helped wherever he could and stayed as the go-between, while both sisters slowly started to understand more about each other's world. At one point, Mai, still in Nodoka's body, came to Sakuta's workplace just to complain about Nodoka's mother's control. And this was the first time Sakuta really understood how much pressure Nodoka had been under. He also saw that Mai was less surprised by her sister's ability. It was like she already knew Nodoka could handle more than she showed. A few days after the body swap started, Sakuta Azusagawa happened to pass by one of Mai Sakurajima's filming locations and saw with his own eyes how badly Nodoka Toyohama was struggling while living her sister's life. She was surrounded by staff and expectations she was not used to carrying, and she tried hard to act like Mai, but the pressure overwhelmed her. She became very anxious and collapsed right there on set. Later, Sakuta told Mai about all this and explained that Nodoka could not handle the kind of pressure that Mai had been dealing with as normal for so long. For the first time, Mai had to look directly at how hard her sister's life had also been. At school, Sakuta kept thinking about this problem and finally asked Kunimi what it was like to live with an older sibling who seemed better in every way. Kunimi could not answer, so Sakuta then talked to Saki Kamisato because she also had an older sister. Kamisato said that being compared to a better person all the time was very tiring, and this answer helped Sakuta understand Nodoka's frustration more clearly. It was not just normal jealousy. It was about the pain of always being measured against a standard you could never reach. Soon after, Mai gave Sakuta an extra key to her apartment and told him to go check on Nodoka. Before sending him, she especially warned him not to open the cabinet in the Japanese-style room. When Sakuta went there, Nodoka was calmer than before. He assured her that even though she fainted on set, she still did well in such hard conditions, and hearing this praise made her smile naturally for the first time. Sakuta told her that this expression suited her better than always copying Mai's polished charm. When Nodoka went to take a bath, Sakuta started cleaning the apartment and realized that in all this mess, he had almost become Mai's temporary housekeeper. Then curiosity got the better of him, and he opened the cabinet Mai told him not to open. Inside, he found a box filled with old letters that Nodoka wrote to Mai when she was a child. Seeing them kept so carefully, only one thing came to Sakuta Azusagawa's mind, that these two sisters had to stop living like enemies. When he went back and told Mai Sakurajima that he finished the housework, he also told her directly that she should make peace with Nodoka Toyohama now. Mai did not like being pushed like this at all, and their talk ended in a cold way. Sometime later, Sakuta spent time with Nodoka again and tried to help her understand Mai's acting. He told told her that instead of forcing herself into tension by watching horror films, she should learn more from the lighter roles that Mai always did very naturally. Nodoka was worried because the next day, she had another shoot and felt like she was running out of time. She even said Sakuta should stay close, because being alone made her anxious, but he refused, because he knew Mai would not like it if he stayed the night. When he got home, he found Kaede Azusagawa lying on the floor and then found out what she was doing. She came out wearing a middle school uniform and said she was trying to build up the courage to go back to school again. Seeing this, Sakuta was quietly impressed. After what Kaede had gone through, just putting on the uniform was a real step. Sometime later, Mai came, saw Kaede in the uniform, and gently said she looked good. She also brought pudding for Kaede and gave Sakuta tickets to an upcoming idol event, telling him to take Nodoka with him. The next time Nodoka went to the filming set, things were very different from before. This time, she performed much better and even heard praise from the staff. Sakuta watched her and later took her to the beach, where he told her she really did well. Nodoka at first rejected this praise because she still felt that whatever she did, she would always be less than Mai. At the same time, Mai told Sakuta that she had received a voicemail from his father who wanted to meet him, and on the other side, Sakuta gave Nodoka the idol concert ticket. That ticket brought back old memories for Nodoka of when she was first inspired by Mai. At that time, she was really happy to see her sister and also dreamed of standing on stage herself. But with time, that praise turned into competition, and then competition turned into anger. Later, Nodoka Toyohama asked Sakuta Azusagawa if he ever felt angry at his family, especially about how much of the burden of taking care of Kaede Azusagawa was left to him. Sakuta said no. Things had gone bad, but that did not mean hate was the answer. During this time, Nodoka, still in Mai Sakurajima's body, met her mother by chance and was surprised to see how worried and attentive she looked. This meeting made a crack in Nodoka's belief that her mother only cared about success. On the other side, Sakuta finally met his father. Their talk was a bit awkward, but when Sakuta mentioned Katie's slow recovery and her wish to go back to school, his father clearly felt relieved. Sakuta asked him what it meant to be a parent, and he answered that it meant facing problems you never expected and learning as you go, even when you fail. In the end, Sakuta and Nodoka went to the idol concert. Mai, still in Nodoka's body, performed with full strength and completely dominated the stage. Even among the whole group, her presence stood out. During the event, it was announced that Nodoka would be the next lead vocalist, and this should have been a happy thing, but Nodoka could not feel it. After the show, she saw her mother proudly congratulating Mai, but she did not know she was praising the wrong daughter. This scene broke what little peace Nodoka had left inside. She ran to the beach and started to go straight into the sea, saying there was no place for her anywhere. Sakuta followed her and stopped her before she could go further. He took her back to Mai's apartment and showed her the box he found in the cabinet. Inside were all the letters Nodoka wrote to Mai as a child. Nodoka remembered that these were letters from a time when she did not fully understand her family's complicated reality. She thought she was just bothering Mai, but Mai never threw away a single letter. Then Mai Sakurajima said she had been listening to everything. She said that when work was hard, those letters gave her strength, and when she was close to giving up, they were what kept her going. Nodoka Toyohama completely broke down. She admitted that what hurt her most was always being compared to Mai, and that she could never become someone her mother could openly be proud of. Then Mai also admitted her own side. She said there was a part of her that was jealous of Nodoka, because Nodoka had a mother who still openly cared for her. With this, both of their real feelings finally came out. Nodoka apologized while crying. Mai hugged her, and for the first time, both sisters truly understood each other. At that moment, the body swap ended and both returned to their real bodies. Later, Futaba explained the possible reason that Nodoka did not just want to be as successful as Mai. Somewhere inside, she also wanted to become Mai herself, while Mai also had feelings she could never admit. After everything was fixed, Sakuta Azusagawa went to meet Mai and was happy that his girlfriend was now back in her real body. But this peace did not last long, because soon he found out that Nodoka would also be living there. Even so, Nodoka thanked him for saving her and said now she understood why Mai chose someone like him. The peace that came after Mai Sakurajima and Nodoka Toyohama returned to their real bodies did not last long. Suddenly, the news about Sakuta Azusagawa and Mai's relationship got out, and it quickly became a celebrity scandal. Reporters surrounded Mai and asked her if the rumors about her boyfriend were true, and if this relationship would hurt her new film. Instead of backing away, Mai faced the press herself. She said that if this scandal made any trouble for the production, she was sorry for it, but she also clearly said that Sakuta was important to her, and meeting him was one of the reasons she found the courage to return to show business. She did not let the media drag Sakuta into this any further and firmly said he should be left alone. Watching this broadcast at home, Kaede Azusagawa was very impressed by Mai's confidence. After about a month, the noise finally faded. Mai and Sakuta were still together and both were quietly satisfied that the scandal could not destroy their relationship. Sakuta was especially happy, and when they met, he praised Mai again and again and said how lucky he was. Mai also answered more openly than usual and said she loved him even more than he thought. This peaceful moment ended when Sakuta found a letter in his mailbox. In this note, he was told to come to the beach where he first met Shoko Makinohara. Just by reading the words, Sakuta was sure this letter was from the older Shoko in his memories, not the younger Shoko who had been coming to his house. Not knowing what to do, Sakuta took the letter to Futaba. Futaba was tired of him always going around these strange questions, so she gave him a straight answer. If he had a girlfriend, he should talk to her first. Sakuta hesitated because he knew he would not like it if the situation was reversed. But before he could decide, Futaba told him she had already told Mai about all of this. Mai did not show jealousy or anger. Instead, she said she wanted to go with him. She was also curious, especially after hearing how important Shoko Makinohara was to him in the past. Sakuta Azusagawa was so impressed by Mai Sakurajima's calm reaction that he started to loudly declare his love again, but Mai immediately stopped him and told him to save it for a better time. Before going to the beach to meet Shogo, Sakuta was stopped by Kaede, Azusagawa's former classmate. She wanted to talk to him separately and apologized for not being able to stop the bullying that happened to Kaede at school. She explained that after Kaede left school, the girls who targeted her were later treated the same way by the whole class, and they also became victims of the same cruelty. Even so, she still felt guilty, and she asked if she could meet Kaed and apologize to her directly. Sakuta refused for now because he was worried that opening up that part of Kaed's past again might hurt her. When Sakuta and Mai went to the beach together, Shoko did not show up. After waiting for a long time, Sakuta wrote a small message in the sand saying he had found someone else he loved now, and then he left with Mai. When they got home, Kaede happily showed him a list she made for herself. She wrote down the things she wanted to do one by one, and the biggest goal was to go back to school. Sakuta was impressed by her seriousness. He advised her to start with small steps, like picking up the phone or going out one day to see pandas. Mai joined in and helped make the whole process less scary for her. Soon after, middle school Shoko called and said she was sick, which was why she could not come to the house recently. Kaede decided that picking up the phone would be one of her first challenges. For her practice, Mai especially called her. Kaede kept shaking the whole time, but still picked up the phone and managed to talk. This effort was so hard for her that right after, she got a fever and collapsed, but even in her tired state, she said she was happy because it meant she really made progress. Later that night, Sakuta Azusagawa went to check on her while she was sleeping and noticed a bruise-like mark on her neck, which made him uneasy. That same night, he dreamed of Shoko Makinohara, who told him to become a kinder person, and when he woke up, he was crying, even though he did not fully understand why. At work, Koga noticed that Sakuta seemed troubled these days, and in her awkward way, she tried to make him feel better. It was a short moment, but it improved his mood a bit. Not long after, Kaede Azusagawa showed him the next step of her plan. This time, with Mai Sakurajima's help, she picked out clothes and said she wanted to try going outside. As soon as she stood by the door, fear almost stopped her right there. Sakuta stayed with her, talked to her, and opened the door. Even after that, she could not move at first. He kept encouraging her until she finally stepped outside the apartment. As soon as she realized she was really outside, she started crying. But it was not from fear, it was from relief and happiness. Sakuta hugged her because he knew how hard she had worked for a win that looked small but was actually huge. After that, Kaed slowly built on this success. Each time, she went a little farther until she could go to Mai's apartment, go to the park, and do simple things outside without collapsing. One day, Sakuta Azusagawa, Mai Sakurajima, Nodoka Toyohama, and Kaede Azusagawa sat together on the train going to the beach. Even such a small trip was a huge step for Kaede. She stayed close to Sakuta the whole time and was nervous among strangers, but when he gently told her to look outside, she saw the sea and was happily surprised. At the beach, they all had a simple picnic, ate rice balls together, and spent a peaceful afternoon. Then Kaede's old friend classmate arrived. But instead of recognizing her, Kaede hid behind Sakuta and asked who she was. This question shocked everyone, and finally Sakuta had to say what he had been holding inside for a long time, that Kaede did not remember her past. Then he told Mai and Nodoka what happened 2 years ago. One morning, when he went to wake Kaede for school, she looked at him like he was a stranger. She did not recognize her brother, her home, or even herself. Later, doctors decided that the severe stress from bullying gave her dissociative disorder. To protect herself, Kaede lost her memories and her identity, and the girl who woke up after that was in many ways a new Kaede. At first, Sakuta could barely accept this fact. The difference between the old Kaede and the Kaede in front of him was so painful that he could not understand how to talk to her. Things got even worse. Strange bruises and wounds started to appear on Kaede's body, and under the stress of her daughter's condition, Sakuta's mother slowly broke down. One night, Sakuta himself woke up in severe pain, and a deep scar had formed on his chest. When he tried to explain this, the doctors did not take him seriously and thought maybe he did it himself. Feeling alone and helpless, Sakuta ended up at the beach, where he met Shoko Makinohara. She was the first person who listened to him and did not reject him as a liar or unstable. Shoko told him that everyone lives in their own separate world, and the best a person can do is learn to live kindly with others. At that time, her words had an effect on Sakuta that nothing else could. That meeting changed how Sakuta treated Kaede. Instead of waiting for the old Kaede Azusagawa to return, he started to accept the Kaede in front of him as she was. He gave her a notebook so she could write her thoughts and feelings, and this small thing helped her start building her new identity. In the end, their parents practically separated. Their father stayed with his wife because her mental state was very bad, while Sakuta stayed with Kaede. Even after learning to care for the new Kaede, a part of him was always afraid of what would happen if the old Kaede ever came back. Returning to the present, Sakuta apologized to Mai Sakurajima for never telling her the whole truth about Kaede. Mai forgave him, though she quietly said she wished he had trusted her earlier. Soon after that, Sakuta saw new bruises forming on Kaede's body. During this time, Mai told him she was going away for a distant film shoot and reminded him to call her if anything went wrong. When Sakuta got home, he found Kaede trying on her old school uniform. She said she wanted to go outside again, partly because she felt guilty for not recognizing her old friend classmate. Now that she knew that girl was once her friend, she was stuck between being scared of people who knew the old Kaede and not knowing anything about them. Sakuta gave her a book that her old friend classmate had returned and told her it belonged to the old Kaede. Inside was a note. As soon as Kaede read it, something reacted inside her and she collapsed. At the hospital, Sakuta and his father were told that it was possible her old memories were coming back. When Kaede woke up, Sakuta felt very relieved and immediately called Mai to tell her everything, but he did not know that Kaede was quietly listening to all of it nearby. Later, when he told her that after being discharged, he would do whatever she asked, he suggested seeing pandas. But Kaede surprised him by saying she wanted to go to school. Sakuta immediately agreed. Later, he asked his father to help make this wish come true, and he agreed, although he asked that one day, Sakuta Azugawa introduced him to his girlfriend. Not long after, Mai Sakurajima left for her film work, and after she was gone, Nodoka Toyohama asked Sakuta if he was scared about Kaede Azusagawa's condition. Sakuta admitted he was very scared, but as Kaede's big brother, he thought he should always look strong when she saw him. Soon after, a school counselor came to talk to Kaede and gently advised her to start going back to school, but not to try to do everything at once. Then Kaede really started to try. One day, she and Sakuta went toward school together, but as soon as she heard the laughter of nearby students, panic took over and they stopped that day. Another time, she tried again, but became frustrated with her slow progress. Sakuta saw that her bruises were spreading more and told her to rest, but Kaede refused. Crying, she said she did not have time to go slowly. At that moment, Sakuta understood what he had been avoiding admitting to himself, that the return of the old Kaede might mean the disappearance of the Kaede who had been with him for the last 2 years. When he saw she was under too much pressure, he changed the plan and took her somewhere else, the zoo. As soon as Kaede saw the pandas, her mood changed. She was so happy that Sakuta gave her an annual pass and said she could come back whenever she wanted. On the way home, they stopped to get pudding, and then at night, they took a walk past the school. Since the campus was empty, it did not feel as scary as before. Sakuta crossed the gate and helped Kaede look inside. Then both quietly walked in the dark school halls, and for the first time, Kaede could look at the place without freezing in fear. She softly said that next time she wanted to come here in the daytime. Then both decided they would properly celebrate her progress the next day, and holding on to that small hope, they walked home together. The morning after Kaede Azusagawa's night visit to the school, Sakuta Azusagawa immediately felt something was wrong. When she woke up, her voice, her way of speaking, and her whole presence had changed. The soft and childish Kaede he had lived with for the last 2 years was no longer there, and in her place the original Kaede had returned, the one from before the bullying and memory loss. Sakuta immediately took her to the hospital and called their father on the way. At the hospital, the doctor confirmed the truth. Kaede's old memories had come back, but in exchange, she had lost all memories from the last 2 years. She did not remember the new personality she built during that time, or the life she lived with Sakuta after losing her identity. Hearing this, their father broke down in tears of happiness because his daughter had come back. but Sakuda could not take it. He left the room and ran into the hallway because he could not hold back his grief. When he went outside, his feelings finally broke. He cried and prayed for the other Kaede to come back, the one who made promises with him, wrote goals in her notebook, and wanted to go see pandas with him. When he broke down in this pain, the old wound on his chest opened again and started to bleed. In this state, Shoko Makinahara came and found him. She took him home, cared for his wound, changed his clothes, and stayed with him while he was completely broken. Sakuda called himself useless and thought he could not save the Kaede who disappeared, but Shoko gently told him he did everything he could. She said Kaede loved him very much and valued the life they built together. To prove it, Shoko opened Kaede's diary and read it out loud. In those pages, Kaede wrote how lonely she felt when people around her saw her as a replacement for the daughter they lost. For them, she was strange, unknown, and temporary, but Sakuda never treated her like that. He stood by her, gave her a place to live as herself, and slowly helped her build her new life. She also wrote that she saw Sakuda Azusagawa change, going to school, doing a part-time job, and then bringing a good girl like Mai Sakurajima into his life. She also understood that Sakuda blamed himself for what happened to her, and that was why she made her list of goals. She wanted to do all those things with him so that after she disappeared, Sakuda would not be left with only regret. Most of all, she wanted him to smile, not cry, when he remembered her. In her last words, she thanked him for all the memories they made together and asked for just a little more time. By the time Shoko Makinohara finished reading the diary, Sakuda was crying again, but this time he forced himself to smile too, because that was what Kaed wanted. The next morning, Shoko was not there, only a note was left. Sakuda saw that Mai had sent messages and asked how Kaede was doing, and he finally called her back. He told her everything, that Kaede was back, but the Kaede who had been with him for the last 2 years was gone now. When Mai asked if he was okay, Sakuda lied and said he was fine. Then he started trying to build a relationship with the recovered Kaede again. He joked with her, asked if she liked pandas, and even invited her to go out together sometime. She answered in her old teasing way, and at that moment it became even clearer to him how different she was now. Even so, he kept trying. Days went by, but the older Shoko never appeared again. Sakuda started to doubt if she even existed, and Futaba suggested that maybe Shoko was his illusion of what he thought Kaede would be like without the bullying. Finally, Mai came back from work and visited his apartment, but there she saw Shoko's note and understood that Sakuda was holding everything inside again. He tried to explain, but Mai Sakurajima was hurt, not because she thought he cheated on her, but because he preferred to suffer alone instead of sharing his pain with her. With tears, she left and told him he hurt her a lot. Sakuda Azusagawa ran after her, but she refused to stop. After that, he became numb and away. His friends noticed this right away. Then Nodoka Toyohama confronted him and firmly told him how wrong he had been with Mai. She reminded him that Mai came to see him despite her busy schedule and her own problems, and he did not even realize that it was her birthday that day. This finally pulled him out of his state. Sakuda immediately left, took a train, and went straight to Mai's filming location. After a lot of trouble, he found her. Mai pulled him into her car and quietly accepted the fact that he came there without any plan and almost no money. Then, with her staff's help, they both got a private moment away from the set. There, Sakuda finally said happy birthday to her. He apologized for being a bad boyfriend and not understanding that she wanted to carry some of his pain with him. Mai also apologized and said she wished she could have done more for him when he needed her most. Then both finally said what they should have said from the start, that being together means not leaving the other person alone. The tension between them broke, and they reconciled again. By the end of the episode, Sakuda visited Kaede Azusagawa in the hospital again. She thanked him for everything he did for her, and said she wanted to move forward and go back to school. Sakuda asked if she was really ready, and Kaede said she would be fine. This answer did not come from the Kaede he lost, but Sakuda accepted it anyway. He could not bring back the sister who disappeared, but he could live a life that respected her memory, and also keep walking with the sister who returned.